into you, you certainly feel it. I think it pretty
Watch Johnny's bite.
In the morning,
I watch you sometimes. People disagree with you, but I understand some of your approach. Sometimes we take a hard bite. It helps us as politicians.
Nowadays, when I listen to you, I even panic. Why? Hey, why do you panic?
The way you 92.7.
You know, Papa.
Urban Lifestyle Radio
he bites
Station.
as hard as he can.
Okay.
And of course, when he puts his fangs into you, you certainly feel it. I think it pretty
Watch Johnny's
The
bite.
best in the morning is on 92.7. Sunrise on 3FM.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runneth over, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. It's Monday, the 11th of November, 2024. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. Gradually, we're getting to the big election, and it's less than 30 days to the big election. I want to believe that the real issues are engaging you. I want to believe that you're taking a look at the manifestos. I want to believe that you are not being swayed just by party colors, but you're looking at the real issues. You're looking at the manifestos. You have not been swayed by how nice one candidate looks as opposed to the other. You have not been swayed by how much you have gotten or what you have been offered or what vote buying has been made towards you. I'm sure that you're thinking of Ghana in trying to make a bold decision for the forthcoming elections. Let me say thank you to Sonar Fashions in Tamale for my outfit. 0246 590162. That's 0246 590162. Please make a call to him, get something special for you and yours. This morning, I also like to send out big congratulations and if you like, salutes to the team at the men's ministry at the ICGC Zoe Temple in Tema. They took great initiative over the weekend, the third edition of the what used to be the black tie event, right? And it's now the Tema Business Seminar or conference rather, and they took great initiative. I mean, it was a swell time, lots of knowledge to be shared. The great Professor Robert Ebohing was there, and you know that he's connected to our Top in 10 event here at 3FM and also TV3 and Media Generally, and he was there to share, in a masterclass, if you like. Kofi Dodufin of Petra was also there. I want to say big shouts to Architect Haum, to Rudolph Amwasari, to Joe DeGraft, and all the team who worked to put that event together. It was a swell time, and we had a lot of engagement and networking and all of that. Hopefully, that business climate conversation will come up, and it's going to be a good one. But this morning, I want us to all have a quick look at something. And this is a letter that was written from the quarters of the NPP, Justin Kodua Frimpong at the time. That was when the Alanites, the like of former General Secretary of the NPP, all the people who left and went to join Mr. Alan Tremantin because he said he was not going to be part of the NPP again. Put that letter up quickly. Let's see that letter. And this is dated the 20th of November 2023 for immediate release. It says, for feature of membership pursuant to the provision of Article 391 of the New Patriotic Party's Constitution, the leadership of the New Patriotic Party has taken notice of recent activities of Hobson Adoye, Yababina Samoa, Nano Heningto, and Boniface Abubakar Sadiq, which includes publicly endorsing the candidature of a person other than the duly elected presidential candidate of the party, His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Bawumia, in spite of their flagrant breach of the party's constitution, particularly Article 35A4 and 391, the aforementioned men still hold themselves out as members of the NPP. For the avoidance of doubt, Article 35A4 of the NPP's constitution enjoins all members of the party to abide by and publicly uphold the decisions of the party. In addition, Article 391 of the Constitution provides as follows: a member of the party who stands as an independent candidate against the officially elected member of the party, or who joins or declares his or her support for another political party or for an independent candidate when the party has sponsored a candidate in a general or by-election, automatically forfeits his or her membership of the party. In line with these constitutional provisions, it is in the view of the MPP that Hobson Adoye, Nana Ohinto, Boniface Abubakar Sadiq, and Yaboabia Samoa automatically forfeited their membership of the party. They are therefore no longer members of the NPP. The NPP entreats its members to remain true to their duties per Article 35 of the party's constitution. We further call on members to bear in mind the party's focus, and which is to unite, etc. Now, can we push the letter up so we can read it? Right, so this is a letter that was written by Justin Kodua Frimpong of the NPP. Justin Kodua Frimpong of the NPP. I just came to read this letter to you so you get an understanding of it. Why is the letter dancing pan logo on the TV? I came to read it to you so you get an understanding of what the past has said. I have not said anything. I'm just reading that to you. And then over the weekend, I also read that, a petition has been transmitted to the president's office, and the president has also forwarded the petition to the office of the Chief Justice. Now, what is this petition about? This petition is from a lawyer, a fellow journalist, and a member who says he's no longer a member of the NPP, because he used to be a member of the NPP, Mr. Ken Kranchi. Now, he is seeking, and you know that in the past, Mr. Ken Kranchi has had cause to go to the court to ask, to ask for the legality of the creation of the office of the special prosecutor. That matter, I think, was thrown out of the court or so. Now, Mr. Ken Kranchi has gone back to the presidency with a petition which has been transmitted to the Chief Justice, I understand, and is asking that the office of the special prosecutor or the special prosecutor, be cleared off because he has breached a certain law. We will get to it, but let's first read the letter from the presidency. And this is dated the 1st of November 2024. It says, "Dear Mr. Kranchi, petition for removal of Mr. Kisi Ejabin as special prosecutor, office of the special prosecutor for acts of stated misbehavior, willful violation of the official oath and oath of secrecy, and acting in a manner prejudicial or inimical, prejudicial, I should say, not prejudice, or inimical to the economy or security of the state. I am directed by the President of the Republic to acknowledge receipt of your petition dated October 2024, invoking the provisions of Article 50, Section 15 of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017, 959, Act 959, for the removal from office of the Special Prosecutor, Mr. Kisi Ejabin. In accordance with Section 15.3 of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017, Act 959, the President has forwarded the petition and its incidental papers to the Chief Justice to determine whether there is a prima facie case. The outcome of the determination will be communicated to you. Please accept the President's best wishes. Yours sincerely, Call Abaka Esuman Esquire, his acting secretary to the President and legal counsel to the President. That means Nana Santi Bedieto, the President's secretary, is still not back. He's still receiving medical treatment, I'm sure. So Call Esuman is who's also a legal advisor to the President, is now acting as secretary to the President. Copy to Ken Kranchi is number 5 Ruby Street, Achimota, Accra. His telephone number is there. You can call him and ask him. Now, in this petition, for example, Mr. Kranchi is asking that the special prosecutor be cleared off because he has gone on to conduct a polygraph for 80% of the staff of the Office of the President, of the Special Prosecutor, using FBI support. All right? A polygraph, on the staff of the Office of the Special Prosecutor using FBI support. And this whole polygraph thing is to make sure that whoever works at the Office of the Special Prosecutor is as clean as it can be, so that nobody can say that there are corrupt officials within the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Mr. Ken Kranchi has an opposite view, who thinks that, look, this should not have happened. Now, the suggestion is that the Office of the Special Prosecutor, by engaging the FBI to do a polygraph test, according to him, on 80% of the staff, that the Office of the Special Prosecutor says, no, it's not 80%. We have actually done 100% of all our staff. So we are the only office that can say, and Samir Aku said this at Kempinski. He said that we are the only organization in Ghana that can say that 100% of our organization, the staff within our organization, are as clean as a whistle. But Mr. Kranchi mentions 80%. They have quoted a contrary figure. Now, he goes on to say that, well, there's been a breach of a law. I want to first of all understand what law we're talking about. And for example, is the NIB, the National Investigations Bureau, or BNI, what we have known as BNI, do they have the power over the Office of the Special Prosecutor, maybe as supervisors or, whatever it is, to be able to say, okay, you have breached the law? Where is that particular law? I'm interested to find out. And I'm not a lawyer, so I'm happy to learn. Where is the law? Which portion of the law has been, and in any society, a polygraph test is important so that you know that people are, sacrosanct, so to speak, for want of a better expression, so that when they come asking you questions about corruption and trying to say you are corrupt, etc., that the man asking you the question is himself very, very clean. So, which law has been breached? Does the NIB have the authority, and by which law, to go and conduct this polygraph test? And interestingly, a source indicated to me that, but even the NIB, just about 5 or 10%, maybe under 5% of his people, right, are the only ones who have gone through a polygraph test. And even that, it had to be done outside in South Africa. It is now that the NIB itself has sent some people to go and train out there in South Africa to be competent enough to run the polygraph test for his own people. So if you are asking that the people should have been the ones to do it, you must first of all ask yourself the question, are they competent and qualified enough? Do they have the requisite capacity and training? That's the second question to ask. The third question to ask is, why is it worrying that you have people working in an institution where they're supposed to be checking corrupt officials, like Yoko, like, NIB, like the police, etc. And why is it strange that somebody has gone to do a polygraph test on the people? Why is it strange? Are we not looking at international best practices? Find me the OSP's own law. And I want to go, because this whole conversation about polygraph and the breach of the law, etc., is in Act 959. There's a portion of the Act, the first one, no, let's go to the cover page. The first one, it talks about vetting. Let's look at it. Part 1, management of human capital, right? And these are, the OSP can boast about more than 200 people, no, the first one, more than 200 people. Now, it talks about application of regulation, recruitment by the office, recruitment, letter of appointment, designation of nominee, effective date of appointment, medical examination, vetting, re-vetting, vetting of spouse. Even their spouses are supposed to be vetted. Personal data, notification of change in personal particulars, etc. I'm interested in the vetting portion. Let's go to it. Now, vetting is Section 7 of the OSP Act. It says a person who is appointed, seconded, or otherwise engaged by the office shall be subjected to vetting. So what is this vetting? Is it just verbal vetting? Because in this country, we know that people gather, they say opening prayer, they pray to God, and the first thing they do is to tell lies. People go to court, they swear an oath by the crucifix, by the Bible, by the Quran, whatever it is they believe in. The next thing they say is a lie. Section 8 says revetting. The special prosecutor may call for the revetting of an employee at any time during the employment of the employee with the office. So what is the problem really? If they had gone through verbal vetting, they have written the applications, the OSP has gone to do background check there with WIRE, check with their various universities, with their work experience, what they have done in their past, their bank accounts, etc., to know what they have. And the OSP decides that I want to do a polygraph to be sure that these people I'm working with can be trusted. What is wrong with that really? And it does appear to me that there may be a certain deliberate attempt to kick Mr. Kissie Jabin off that office. You remember Mr. Kissie Jabin held a press conference and called himself the lonely bird Ankwanuma. You remember that? And where he was near tears. Now, Martin Alamisi Ben-Skai's army, to his predecessor, shared similar sentiments. If you read the JAPA, corruption risk assessment report, he shared certain sentiments, and even he called the president names. He christened the president mother serpent of all corruption, and said that he does not believe any day, come to me, that the president has the capacity to fight corruption yesterday, today, and forever. The presidency has not responded to that. He who christened the president mother serpent of all corruption. Now his successor, this is about the third attempt or so at Mr. Kissie Jabin. So the question is, what is Mr. Kissie Jabin doing to attract all these petitions and all these things? It's a question to ask. Is he doing something wrong? If he's doing something wrong, let the law deal with him. Is he doing something right? If he's doing something right, why don't we support him? And you see, I have asked the question about the law that Mr. Kranchi is building this whole petition on. Which law did he breach that the OSP should be under the direction of the NIB when it comes to vetting of his people? Because we do know that the NIB is supposed to be an investigative and research wing of our whole security architecture, right? And then we do know that the Office of the Special Prosecutor, they have arresting powers, they have prosecutorial powers, etc. So the basic question to ask is, who is superior? That's the basic question to ask. And in whose interest is Mr. Ken Kranchi filing this petition? I'm asking questions because any ordinary person who reads it, who may have had a basic appreciation of what the OSP Act, what has been going on, the previous incidents, etc., they will start asking basic questions. I'm not pointing accusing fingers. I'm only asking that, okay, Mr. Ken Kranchi, you say they have breached. Which law are you talking about specifically? Point us to the direction of the law, in the direction of the law, and the provisions that have been breached. It will be nice to know. Then we will know as a country that we are on a certain path towards fighting corruption and nibbling it in the bud and ending it. Or if you like, minimizing it to the barest minimum. I remember so well the things that were said about the creation of the Office of the Special Prosecutor and how people will be dragged and people will be held there and people will be put in jail, etc. You remember the Office of the Special Prosecutor conversation? So now if it looks like people who are connected to the government, people who are attached to the government, people who are aligned with the dreams of the government and the vision of the government are now the ones seeming to be, heckling the Office of the Special Prosecutor, you must pause and ask a question. Did we really mean it when we said we're going to fight corruption? Or we're just saying it so that it gets into the ears of the people so that they will take a certain step and decision? I'm only asking. But I brought to your attention that there's a petition that has been filed by Mr. Ken Kranchi. And everybody knows Mr. Ken Kranchi. If you don't remember Mr. Ken Kranchi, if you remember the election petition, he was one of the people who was held for contempt, etc. But that's history. But that's Mr. Ken Kranchi. And I've told you that Mr. Kranchi has previously gone to court. And that matter of asking for the legality of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, etc., had been thrown out. Now there's a petition from the same quarters to the presidency And as quickly as possible, the presidency has transmitted it. I'm told that there are other petitions that have been sent to the presidency, but have not been transmitted to the Chief Justice. The question you must ask at this point, as a Ghanaian who is considerate in your reasoning, is why? Why? Is corruption no longer central to the government? Why? Is it wrong to do a polygraph test? Why? Does the NIB have authority over the OSP? Why? Is it wrong to have done the polygraph test using FBI resources? Why? And you see, in conducting these polygraph tests, you actually would need somebody that's independent. Because in this country, people know people. What if there are people at the NIB who know people at the OSP who are the same people going to do the polygraph test? I will leave that one here. Now, let's get to Mr. Gabio Tridako. There's a nice photo of Dr. Baumia and Mr. Kenoforiata. Very nice photo. Let's put the photo up. This was Mr. Gabio Tridako at 8:36 a.m., February 2, 2018, and he has insisted that he's not a member of the government. Agreed. But while he's not a member of the government, you know, sometimes Kami Veskazi Shadow, he says something, and the next moment you hear it, you see it. And people say, he's the prime minister. I don't know. He tweeted and said that 2 key members of Akufo-Addo economic management team last night at the airport. One just arrived, and the other just departing to London for meetings with Bank of America executives. Our economy is in competent hands. He says, 2 key members of Akufo-Addo's economic management team last night at the airport. One had just arrived, and the other just departing to London for meetings with Bank of America executives. Our economy is in competent hands. Now, over the weekend, he tweeted again, because business magnate Dr. Macaulay McDan, as is popularly known, had made some comments at the CEO summit. He spoke about how government politicians who may not have had any experience in business, etc., were the ones who were taking decisions. So Mr. Oshidaku tweeted, because the story says, government policies have really not helped the private sector. McDan laments. This is a Ghana Web story. He says, I am perplexed. This is from an entrepreneur who enjoyed the full support of government to own the largest salt concession in Africa, with the capacity to produce some $2 billion of salt annually, a project that for 45 years, various governments failed to commercialize. Aghast. He says, I am perplexed. This is from an entrepreneur who enjoyed the full support of government to own the largest salt concession in Africa, with the capacity to produce some $2 billion worth of salt annually, a project that for 45 years various governments failed to commercialize. Aghast. Let's listen to something that Dr. McDan said. Let's listen to him.
We have to be very serious in this country. We can help government. We have to help government. This is our country. We don't have any other country to run to.
Sunrise on 3 FM.
All my investments is in Ghana. And what do I do? Where do I run to? We have to put all our resources in here. I can tell you that we're living in a country when government, the politicians, will sit down and will drive policies for the private sector who understand business. I've had many occasions where I've walked into a minister. Whatever I explain, he doesn't understand. And he will never understand. And this is the guy taking decision for me. I've been in private business for over 30 years. And I'm telling you that this will work not for me in my selfish interest. But think about it. The politicians who are not even built or employ 3 people in his whole life will sit and enact come out with a policy for me who is paying over 5,000-7,000 people. Our job is our business as entrepreneur is to create job. Government business is to aid us to create a job for them. So if you cross Ghana, we are doing well. My only problem is at time the politics of winner takes all. We have to be very.
And you saw he spoke. He's flanked onto the right by engineer Ken Ashigbe, to the left by Alasan and Danny. And these are people who have established businesses, managed people, created jobs for people. I have stood here so many times. In fact, no, not here. When I was on TV3 to say that some people who join politics only get a job because their political party is in power, because private sector did not find them worthy to employ. They have written applications that was never considered. They sat for aptitude tests that they failed. I've said it here. I had trouble. People started, but some of us, we have changed jobs. So you can't do FOCO. Your first job is that your party got into power and you got a job. Finish. Private sector did not find you worthy to employ. That's what he's talking about. That he walks into a minister and the minister does not even understand what he's trying to explain to them. And I go back to the earlier thing I spoke about, the tema, what do you call it, business conference. The knowledge that Professor Ebo Hinson shared, the knowledge that Kofi Finn shared, the knowledge that architect Haum shared, and many others shared, you can never ever learn that in a classroom. You will learn that through the school of hard knocks if you're running a business. Kofi Finn is running Petra. Go and check. They're doing very well. Africa's #1 marketing guru, Professor Hinson. Go and check. Then you check Spectra Global by architect Haum. Go and check. Track record day, scorecard day, plenty. So it's not about somebody just getting in. And you know, the problem with this government is that when somebody says something, they don't look at the bigger picture. They come directly at the individual, trying to assassinate the character of the person. Who hasn't said in this country that Dr. McDan is a member of the MPP, is connected more to the MPP than the NDC? Who hasn't said it? Tell me who hasn't said that? Well, people were talking about the airport, people were talking about trade fair, so the salt thing is the only thing. But the salt thing, there's a whole value chain. And he's telling you that, look, some of the policies and the things have not been helpful to the business community. He said no. Find me Franklin Kujo's Facebook post. I'll explain something to you briefly. This is Franklin Kujo. He says, really, Dr. Bia, is this quote wrongly attributed to you or rightly to another? Put it up. Either way, it is not true. Let us recall the following. In 2016, John Dramani Mahama, $1 was to 4 cedis. 1 bag of cement was to 24 cedis. Ghana at IMF, but government did no pickpocketing of savings of Ghanaians and pensioners through the debt exchange program. Debt from 1957 to 2016 was 120 billion cedis. 2024, Bawumia and Anado, $1 is to 17 cedis. Mate stroke driver Bawumia. Now, 1 bag of cement is 105 cedis. Ghana at IMF got there in stitches, plus over 40 painfully higher taxes, wicked financial haircuts. Government literally pickpocketing savings of Ghanaians and pensioners through the debt exchange program. To bottom pa, debt between 2016 to 2024, a staggering 763 billion cedis. Unemployment twice. And they see, these are my friends. No, so if you read the conversations, now imagine that you're a businessman like McDan, or like Alasan and Danny, or like Ken Ashigbe, or like architect Haum, or like Rudolph Amwasari, or any of them. Come to me. Imagine that you're a businessman, and your whole capital was maybe $10,000 or $20,000. If your exchange rate is $1 to 17 cedis, as compared to $1 to 4 cedis, 4 cedis, what would your capital have become? Your capital, your $20,000, compare that as $1 to 4 cedis, and then $1 to 17 cedis. What would your capital have become? That is what Dr. Daniel Macaulay is pointing you to. He's pointing you to the reality. If people were buying cement at a cheaper rate, right, real estate people will not inflate their prices. If they go and buy the cement at 105 Ghana cedis per bag, they will put that cost, inculcate that cost into the final bill, and whoever comes to buy the house will have to pay. That is what he's talking about. If your capital reduces, it means that you can't invest in machinery and human resource. You have to lay off people. That's what he's talking about. If there's in DDEP and your money has been halved, right? And then aside that, 40 more painful and higher taxes have been imposed. How do you survive as a businessman? That is what he's talking about. It's not about him as an individual who was helped to get the Songosort project. No. It was not about him and Electrochem. No, he was talking about the bigger picture. And I'm saying that this government always fails to look at the bigger picture. They always go for the individual who is speaking. They leave the message and they go for the messenger. Play me Samira Baumia's video.
Yes, Obi. Yeah, let's talk about exchange rates depreciation. Yeah, Biden. So, Mukaya, 2017, 4.2.
Yeah.
2009, President Kufuor Kono, city no 1.2. And now, over 8 years, no, omo 2009 2016 record, no, omo movie city no to 4.2, which is increase of more than 300% increase, and our depreciation in the city. Nene, the dollar to CD is 5.4. And can say it hasn't shifted, but the rate at which, context is everything, Obi. The rate at which it has moved, it is 4.4. If NDC were managing the economy the way they've been managing it before with one power now, Kenya can drew 12 points, BB. Because this is 300% increase over that period. No, if we were replicating what they do, or if they were in power, God forbid that. And then we'll be talking about 12.8, but we've just moved from 4.2 to 5.2. So we're doing far better.
You know, when Mrs. Samira Baumia said this, nobody criticized. Who attacked it like how Dr. McDan is being attacked? Who tweeted about it? Who attacked it? Who tweeted about it? The reality on the ground, and you know, the government and its campaign team are doing so well, trying to shift every Ghanaian's attention from the real issues of the day-to-day bread and butter issues. The government doesn't talk about electricity tariffs anymore. The government doesn't talk about water tariffs anymore. They don't talk about the price of a bag of olonka, a bag of maize, a ball of kenke. The real issue, they don't talk about it anymore. Every day is either free SHS or some digitalization or some app that is being launched. They don't talk about the minimum wage and how small it is anymore. They don't talk about... I remember the campaign that was waged in 2016 was about the bread and butter issues, how people couldn't feed, how people couldn't pay their rent, how transportation costs were up there. The government has succeeded in moving everybody's mind away from it, and they end up attacking people for saying it. The month is going to end. Dr. McDan will be paying people. He'll be forced to pay people. If he doesn't have the money, how does he pay people? And if he lays those people off, how would the families of those people live in this kind of Joshua and Caleb economy? Dr. Baumia doesn't speak about the exchange rate anymore. When was the last time he spoke about the exchange rate? When you say, they say, oh, Dr. Baumia was never allowed to work. He was not close to it. Play Yaosafomafo's video for me.
All of us here, and on behalf of my colleagues, say a very big thank you to the type of leadership the EMT has enjoyed from Dr. Baumia. A chairman who is so involved in the work of he works like a member, like a secretary. It's sterling quality, professionally excellent. So we are where we are because Dr. Baumia is putting up a very professional chairmanship to the EMT. And I pray that we continue to work together as a team.
So you heard what he said. We are where we are because of the leadership of Dr. Baumia. Today when you talk, they say, oh, no. He was nowhere close. When was the last time you heard Dr. Baumia talk about the exchange rate? When was the last time you heard him talk about the price of a ball of kenke? The same campaign that was waged then. The campaign now should be about what we have been able to do or maintain or improve. Not what, if you give us power, we will do in future. Give us your terminal report now. That's what the people are asking. And shamefully, our president goes to unveil, instead of focusing on these things, goes to unveil a statue, show us the statue in his name, and the place where the statue was unveiled, the project has not been completed, even the roundabout has not been completed. So you ask yourself, what kind of foolish desperation is this? Your children have not eaten. They have not taken their bath. Their nose are flowing, right? They have cold and catarrh, and they look malnourished and everything. But you have polished, you have dressed, and you are going to somebody's outdooring or engagement or party. Are you all right? Any parent who does that is not all right. And it appears that our government is leading us like that. Because everybody is complaining. Even pro-MPP people who are business people, they complain to you in private. But as hypocritical as we are, publicly, they won't say it. I know I have big MPP friends. They complain to you in private that Nkoye. Then when you see them the next time, they will be dancing to Sisifian. So you ask yourself, what is going on? But what do I know? Please write these numbers down and call me later. 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0154. See you shortly after this break here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio.
Agu Ghana for. Hey.